Hello and welcome to the Carnegie Report in June 2022. My name's Gary Peer.
And I'm Leor Samuel.
You are indeed Leor Samuel, the director of our Carnegie office and all things Carnegie, Murrumbeena and surrounds. How are you finding the market out there?
Good. Cold. It's getting cold now in terms of weather, but otherwise it's been all right. Bit of definitely levelling out, bit more balance. We've gone from nuts to normal, Gary, but still transacting well.
What do you reckon our clearance rate is right now in and around Carnegie, Murrumbeena? If you had to have a guess, and we've, all these shows,
to answer that.
Unprepared.
I reckon probably just touch over 80, 82% if you want to talk the 5 out of 6 or just over 4 out of 5. So, I reckon. But in terms of supply, the listings are really, really down. But now that the election's out of the way, the results happened. Be interesting times come winter. Traditionally, Gary, as you know, less on the market. But let's see what happens.
It has been a cold winter so far. You've got that chill in your bones, and I know I've been doing for the first time auctions with like an overcoat on, which I've never done before.
Paddington Bear.
A little bit of Paddington
Bear. Like the Queen's, did you see the Queen?
I did see the Queen.
Is that where you got
She's
it from?
She's got a wicked sense of humour, the Queen, hasn't she? I heard another fantastic story the other day about her going for a walk somewhere, and she bumped into some tourists, and they said, "Oh, we hear the Queen's around here." She said, "Oh, really?" And then the person she was with says, "Oh, he knows the Queen pretty well." So they had a photo with the guy. They asked the Queen to take a photo of them and the guy who had known the Queen.
Wow.
And the Queen actually ended up taking the shot. So no doubt, and then got in a shot just as the person that took the photo. So it'd be funny when those people would have got back home and said, "Oh, that was the lovely lady that took the photo." Anyway, bit of a Queen story, probably gone on a bit too long about the Queen, but it has been a very exciting time for her. It's her birthday, and of course, did you watch any of the celebrations? Because
just a few of the songs,
but pretty crazy.
Some of those musicians were singing not their songs though, which was a bit weird.
I know. I always wonder when people do
Rod
that.
Stewart singing, obviously, do you want to think if I think I'm sexy or something? I think that's a bit out there.
Well, I don't think the Queen wants to hear, "Do you think I'm sexy?" in her 90s. I'm not sure. Maybe she does. I don't know. Anyway, if that's what you enjoy, Her Majesty, well, I'm sure he can probably sing it to you privately. Let's move on. We've got right off track. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been sold. But before we do that, just the general vibe of the market, still probably the biggest problem is getting listings.
Yep.
Our open for inspection numbers are still strong. Our clearance rates are strong. There's still some really competitive auctions as well, depending on what it is. What's probably the hottest thing you're seeing out there in the market right now?
I still think good properties like house and land is still very strong. I think renovated stuff, nothing that sort of needs work done to it because of building costs going up. But we've seen a big transition from buyers looking to buy land, knock down and build to pay a bit more premium for something that's done because of the convenience. That's what we're seeing a lot of.
Yep, I agree with that. I'm going to whisper a little bit of a tip because people over the years have always said to me, "Gary, where do you think I can buy that's just a little bit underpriced? Like, where do you think the next area explosion is going to be?" Now, it's happened to a degree, but I'm going to whisper like Joe Biden. You know how he has a bit of a whisper? Although it's a bit creepy when
falling
he
asleep
whispers.
at the table, Joe Biden, I'm saying a bit more of that.
He has a bit of a whisper sometimes in some of his presentations. So very presidential of me to take off Joe Biden. Murrumbeena. I reckon Murrumbeena is still underpriced.
Yep.
I really do. And I look at some of the beautiful homes. We had a great auction on the weekend in Brisbane Street. We're expecting somewhere as the campaign ran away and sort of became evident that we were going to have competition. We thought we'd get some interest in that mid ones, I should say, at 1.5 or whatever.
Region,
It sort of felt like it was going to maybe get in that direction. We never know, and buyers don't always tell us, and why would you? But that's sold for over 1,720,000 for a home. First time sold in 97 years. Now, how's about that for a long-term home?
Almost they're up for a jubilee as well, aren't they?
Well, I tell you what, they'll have
what is it, the centurion?
No, the century, like almost a century of ownership. That's quite extraordinary.
We don't like that turnover, do we?
No, we like people moving every 3 or 4 years. It's so much more considerate to the real estate industry. But anyway, those people own their home.
Would have seen a lot of change in Murrumbeena, but you're absolutely right, Gary.
Yep,
I think,
sure.
And we called it years ago, hence we merged our business with Thompson Real Estate all those years ago. We always knew Murrumbeena was on a hot spot, but we've got a few listings which we'll cover off. But that anywhere, I reckon Murrumbeena Road up to Poth Road, but even Murrumbeena, because it was rezoned, we call it the Oasis Bakery end, because it's the Murrumbeena school zone as well. That area went nuts the last 2 years as well.
Well, if you look where our office is on Murrumbeena Road, certainly, Leor, we are finding that it's very, very exciting in terms of what's got the cafe culture around there.
Yep.
Levi's fantastic. Daniel's son. There's a few others along there. What else? You throw in?
I like Brew.
Brew.
The Brew on Poth Road's great on the corner of Rosella Street. That's
Hey,
one
Brew.
of our favourite.
Hey, Brew. That's
Brew.
a good one. So that is a good one. Anyway, lots of great cafes, lots of stuff going on in Murrumbeena. If you want a tip, buy a good house on a block of land in Murrumbeena while you can, south of $2 million, because before too long there will not be a $2 million minus property in Murrumbeena.
Just value. Across the road, down Dunoon Road, as you know, Malvern East.
Chatty.
There's always a 10-15% premium we've always found buying in Stonington, Malvern East region. Come to Murrumbeena, actually closer to the train station, and got all the action there. Definitely great value still. It's
all about Murrumbeena. Anyway, we reviewed that one sale in Brisbane Street, which was in the same hands for so many years. Also, Thaxted Road, another sale that's happened, $1,170,000. I think you were the auctioneer for that.
Yeah, competitive auction. Two first owner-occupiers going very aggressive in terms of the bidding with that one. It sold really, really well. And a nice street.
Despite the residents that actually lived in the home in James Street, Huntley, it sold very, very well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And it was a long, drawn-out auction. It just show you buyers in terms of auction time. Some people say, well, Gary, 2:30, 3:30 is too late. That auction was done on a Saturday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Massive crowd there. And Philip, as the auctioneer, did what an auctioneer did he? Over an hour, over 154 bids, I think, to recall.
Anyway, little secret there, one of our team members actually lived in that home with their family, so that's why a bit tongue-in-cheek. But Wanalta Road, Carnegie, again, another great property, lots of bidding there. Tell us a bit about that
Generational home here, sold for a most lovely family who originally had the house at the front and they built a single-level home and two sisters owned it. And one had passed away and we'd sold on behalf of the estate. But yeah, that was a great two-bedroom unit that sold with competitive bidding on the day.
Little Sister reminds me of the Elvis song, and by the way, the Elvis movie coming out soon, which will be fantastic. Anyway.
Do you have some blue suede shoes?
Sorry? Don't have any blue suede
brown
shoes.
Ones. I think you got brown ones, I see.
No, mate, I've just been trying to stay away from the Jailhouse Rock my whole life. Tell us a bit about
all shook up, yeah?
Oh, definitely. I'm just on the edge of reality here. Okay. Let's talk about another auction and talk about the wonder of you as the auctioneer in Shepparson Avenue, Carnegie, although Graham Callan auctioned that one. So it's not the wonder of you, it's the wonder of Graham. Great result from my little teddy bear over there. He does not have a wooden heart, does he?
Yeah, Shepparson Avenue, that was also great. We talk about house and land. This one here been in the family's hands for quite some time as well. What we're seeing, unfortunately, obviously, some people have been embedded into the whole Carnegie Murrumbeena region for a while, and to get them out, unfortunately, sort of come as an estate time. But yeah, this one sold really well as well. A good period home. I think the buyer's buying this to refurbish it internally. And
Sydney Street, Murrumbeena, certainly is not in the ghetto. It is in Murrumbeena, which we know is a great suburb. Tell us about the auction that David Thompson did over there.
That was a great auction, David.
Well done, Dave.
I think in total he had about 6 bidders going crazy for it. Sold back about 200 grand over reserve. Parallel to Brisbane Street, you talk about the states of Australia, the Brisbane, the Adelaides, the Sydney streets. But that one there was a one of a pair. It was literally a blank canvas. There was a gentleman there who we managed it, but he was a very big smoker. Literally a blank canvas.
Not many people smoke anymore, do they? I miss smoking. I know people think I'm
Do you remember when you used to do condition reports, because you were in property management in the early 80s, when we used to go into the apartments, the smoke, and you used to take the picture frames down and you could see the edging of it?
Well, there was a lot of smoke in there because I was smoking while I was doing it, so that's probably why.
But that was one of those ones where it was literally tar heaven. But blank canvas sold really well, demand for land in those streets. We talk about Murrumbeena, what a hot pocket that is.
It is, and I can't help falling in love with number 3 and 8, Wanalta Road, Carnegie, another popular property that you auctioned that went very, very well.
That's right.
So often on the Carnegie Report, you get to find out about properties first before they even go online. So there's a few of those here. Let's talk about some of our upcoming auctions. We've got something wonderful happening in Kooraga Road. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, subdivision of 3 units, Gary. This one's got the most magnificent courtyard, massive outdoor area, not just the deck and courtyard area, but actually like almost a backyard. But that's a great single-level villa unit in the heart of Carnegie and Kooraga Road.
Graham Callan, I know, loves this property coming up in Rosstown Road, Carnegie. Tell us a little about it.
We do a lot in Rosstown Road, and this one's quite unique in terms of size. We sell a lot of 1-bedrooms in the area as well, but this one is a genuine 2-bedroom apartment, but it's actually quite large, and it's got the 2nd bathroom. Close to all the action and near our office next to the Carnegie train station.
These auctions are coming up, of course, the weekend after this. We've got another property at 189 Neerim Road, which I know that block very well, as do you.
Corner Roseberry Grove there near
Manchester
Grove around there. A great pocket. That subdivision, split level residences, but this is probably much the pick of the bunch, Gary. Being Unit 1, it's got this massive wraparound courtyard from front and back. If a buyer wants something with a bit of outdoor space or potentially with pets or dogs, this one would be a perfect one.
Fair enough. Saturday week, we move on to Dunoon Street in lovely Murrumbeena, which we love. Tell us about this property.
Around the corner from Levi's, Dunoon Street, fabulous one-bedroom apartment, getting good interest back. You know, with the funny thing, when the rates start to go up, Gary, we see pretty much a draw into investors tend to come back to the market.
Yep.
What we're finding, but yeah, this one would suit great for investment as well.
Murray Road, Ormond, great spot, lovely looking home.
So it's a townhouse here in the McKinnon School Zone. Whoever buys this one will be very lucky because the owners are so meticulous in terms of presentation and how they've got everything. But it's a fabulous one, especially if someone doesn't want to go down the path of building townhouses. You want something already done, check this one out. And it's on a good, decent parcel of land as well.
Roseberry Grove in Huntley is coming up on the 26th of June at 11:30am.
Now, this is a fabulous home as well. It's part of a sort of dual occupancy. So originally there was an original home and the vendors had cut off their backyard and built the most magnificent town residence there as well. It's got a bedroom downstairs, but you know the build quality is really, really good there too. 574
Neerim Road, Hughesdale.
So that's on the cusp of Murrumbeena and Hughesdale there. Poth Road near Chadston, but a good solid home there as well. Great investment on, great opportunity for an owner-occupier as well.
And we finish off with a wonderful property, a Bute one, in fact, in Bute Street, Murrumbeena.
Bute Street, gotta love Bute Street. And we talk about Brew the Cafe before Hey Brew. But Bute Street as well, a great home as well. You gotta love those sort of deco style homes.
In and around that $1 million range, and Jack Slater's handling that one. So, as Elvis would say, it's now or never. And before we leave the building, we just want to talk a little bit about the market further. It is an interesting time of year. Don't wait for spring to find your dream home because it might not be that much coming up in spring. I've got a feeling we're going to be a bit light on stock this spring.
I agree.
We're just not getting the volume of people wanting to sell. A lot of people, when prices kind of settle, they don't want to sell. They're much more excited and inspired when prices go up. So a lack of stock will also drive perhaps prices through to be a bit higher in spring. May happen, no guarantees, no money back. But if you're a buyer, you see the right thing, lock into these low interest rates. There are some great opportunities, particularly in Carnegie and Murrumbeena.
But just on that as well, Gary, you know, usually with the election, the lead up to that, there's always a lull, the uncertainty of it.
Yeah.
A few weeks after the election, where we are now, listings are still down. So it's very interesting to see sort of what's going to happen. But yeah, look, come winter, you know, we're a big selling team. We'd like to have listed more for our winter season.
Sure.
But yeah, if you see value, go for it. I think it's a great time to buy.
Jump on in, buy a property, do it in Carnegie, Murrumbeena, or any other area that you happen to love that's in and around the wonderful areas in Melbourne that we're blessed enough to work in. That's a big wrap on the Carnegie Report in June. Stay warm, and we will see you next time. I'm Gary Peer.
And I'm Leo Samuel. Have a fantastic week.